The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous.
He was the ultimate loyalist,
Principled,
protector, and defender.
kind, humble, honest, and genuine.
The Trump fixer, who said he would take a bullet for his idol, his boss.
They say Mr. Trump's pit bull, that I am his right-hand man.
Now, in a plot twist worthy of Shakespeare, the fixer has flipped.
I am done with the lying. I am done being loyal to President Trump.
Prosecutors say he has provided relevant and useful information on contacts with persons connected to the White House and his own conversations with individual number one, aka candidate Donald Trump, to criminally influence the election. In more than 70 hours of interviews, Cohen confessed to his own financial crimes and past lies and stands to pay the price, 3 years in prison. But before he goes behind bars, he's going in front of Congress and before cameras, now willing to testify publicly to what he knows about Trump's behavior in business and as a presidential candidate.
I think the public needs to know exactly what happened, and I think that he can shed that light on it.
A betrayed Trump says it's all a lie, the deceit only serving Cohen's self-interest.
Michael Cohen is lying, and he's trying to get a reduced sentence. He's a weak person and not a very smart person.
This man has turned a corner in his life, has hit a reset button, and he's now dedicated to telling the truth.
No longer dedicated to being Donald Trump's mini-me, as he was when he started working for the boss more than a decade ago.
Michael was, I'd always like to say, the Ray Donovan of the office.
I'll take care of it.
He took care of what had to be taken care of. I don't know what had to be taken care of, but all I know is that Michael was taking care of it.
He's the guy that you could call at 3 in the morning when you have a problem.
Do you know stories of Donald Trump calling him at 3 in the morning?
Donald Trump has called him at all hours of the night.
He's not calling now because Cohen is singing, admitting negotiations about Trump Tower Moscow continued during the presidential campaign, while Trump denied having any business interests in Russia, and says he was in touch with Trump's lawyers and White House staff as he prepared a full statement to Congress. And Cohen says, at the direction of the candidate, he coordinated payoffs to women accusing Trump of sexual relations, even releasing a secret recording about one of them.
When it comes time for the financing, which will be...
Listen, what financing?
All part of the job.
My job is I protect Mr. Trump. That's what it is.
It's going to be my absolute pleasure to serve you with a $500 million lawsuit.
Often with threats, as in this 2015 conversation with a reporter.
I'm warning you. Tread very lightly, because what I'm going to do to you is going to be disgusting. Do you understand me?
This is also part of the Trump-Cohen method, is you skate on the edge of what's reasonable and maybe even on the edge of what's ethical or legal.
Now Cohen says he's the one being threatened by his former boss.
He should give information maybe on his father-in-law, because that's the one that people want to look at, because where does that money? That's the money in the family.
After that, Cohen initially backed out of his planned congressional testimony before finally agreeing to sit down in front of 3 committees this week.
The President of the United States is essentially threatening his family, which to me is another act of potential obstruction of justice.
Cohen, a sometimes Democrat, first came to Trump's attention after buying apartments in Trump developments, then went to the mat for Trump against one of his condo boards and won.
Trump loved him for it. I mean, that was the beginning of it. And then after that, they became close. It was much more than an attorney-client relationship. It was something much deeper, almost father and son kind of thing.
I will faithfully execute.
But when Trump became president, he did not bring his brash wingman to Washington.
Do you think he wanted to be in the White House, be White House counsel, or?
There must have been a part of him that was dreaming of a great job at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But he's also the guy who not only knows where all the bodies are buried, he buried a lot of them himself. And that ironically disqualified him.
Maybe from working in the White House, but not from working with Bob Mueller and testifying before Congress,